Welcome everyone. In today's video, I wanted to talk about a hidden danger behind leverage yield farming. So Tulip Protocol put up a post on their Medium, and I think this is quite interesting and we should definitely go over it to see what lessons that we can learn. So it's titled DFL Liquidation Event Post-Mortem. Hello Tulip farmers, we experienced a large-scale liquidation event on the DFL-USDC Raydium leverage pair, which required backstopping with our insurance fund. So just taking a look at the chart here, we can see that basically the price of DFL, which is DeFi land, went down by like 50% over the space of 36 hours. We can see here there was a massive dip. That's obviously a massive liquidation cascade, and then it just kept going and going and going, and then we have a bounce here. And so the price, I think at 6 p.m. UTC on the 25th of February was about 0.046 cents, and now it went all the way down to 0.024, which is, the price almost got cut in half. I mean, it did get cut in half, but it managed to rebound a bit. And so let's explore why that happened. So DFL-USDC was caught in a perfect storm where leveraged yield farming made up a majority of the AMM liquidity. So prior to the liquidation event, TVL in the DFL pool on Tulip was approximately $14 million, now reduced to $2 million. So with each large liquidation, AMM liquidity decreased drastically, which increased volatility. With high volatility and large notional liquidations, the lending pool was found to be short $391,000, and that required a backstop from the insurance fund. So that was good. People did end up losing money, but the lending pool was not affected, which I think is the way it should be. And this is, sometimes what's going to happen when you do leveraged yield farming. If you're leveraged yield farming, a low market cap, low liquidity coin, then stuff like this is going to happen, but we'll talk about how to avoid getting caught in something like this before. So they say here that leverage yield farming made up the majority of the AMM liquidity. So I don't know the exact figures, but but in my head it's probably at least 85 to 90% plus of the TVL for that particular pair. Which is quite surprising because I didn't know quite how prevalent leveraged yield farming was in terms of actually providing liquidity out there. I still thought it was mostly institutions or whales, but it appears on a lot of the smaller pairs, for example, it is just leveraged yield farming making up the majority of the TVL. And I'll go into another pair that I think might actually have trouble with this in the future, and that I think might be susceptible to a liquidation cascade. So if we just go on Francium, I found basis yield here. And so Francium and Tulip both have basis yield as a coin that you can farm. And so we can try and figure out what percentage of the TVL is actually leveraged yield farming and whether or not we should actually be worried about that. So it says here that the TVL is 4.12 on Francium. So let's write that down. And then on Tulip, it's 7.64. So that's $11.76 million of TVL is purely leveraged yield farming. And if we go on to Orca for basis, the total liquidity is 12.4 million. Approximately 95% of the TVL within this basis USDC pair on Orca is actually leveraged yield farming. And so that means, if we have another, liquidation cascade event, it's likely to happen on basis versus like any of the larger pairs. For example, I took a look at Gene, which is also something that is available on Francium and Tulip. And basically the TVL that makes up the Gene USD on the Raydium pool, that is leverage yield farming, it's only 68%. So I would consider that more safe than basis. Now basis is a very low market cap coin, and they don't actually have a lot of liquidity. So if the market takes another downturn, then there is a good chance that there will be a liquidation cascade for basis as well. Now this isn't to FUD the coin or like a Tulip or Francium. It's just it's just a matter of fact that you are more likely to get liquidated or have an adverse reaction whilst leverage yield farming there. So if you want to avoid this sort of thing happening to you, don't yield farm any pairs where leverage yield farming takes up like 80% or more of the TVL for the AMM liquidity. Because if you do, then you just put yourself at risk of stuff like this. Now, especially because we're in a current downtrend right now with the markets, this is typically when we have a lot of the long tail events happening. On a bull market, when everything's going up, people are incredibly bullish, and then it's harder for stuff like this to happen. But in the bear market, liquidity starts drying up, liquidation cascades happen a lot more frequently. So yeah, that was the video. I hope you learned something new today. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe for more videos like this one.